Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Klue the Don, Country Family Podcast. Got another episode coming in. Tap in. All right, I'm gonna do that over. I don't know what I just said. Oh man, big breath there, bro. I'm just like I get nervous about this stuff still. It's crazy. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Klue the Don, Country Family Podcast. Got another dope interview coming in. What's going on, everybody? Thank y'all so much for tapping in with another episode of Country Fan Mail Podcast. As I want to say at the beginning of all my episodes, thank you so much to everybody who has listened, shared, liked, subscribed, hated on, talk shit about. If you brought me up in any type of facet in a way, thank you. I appreciate you. That goes for me. That goes for anything to anybody else in the KFM network, diaspora goes. If you talked about anybody, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Definitely big shout out to my international listeners. As always, y'all are always going up. Much appreciation to you. And also, if you want to support the page in any type of way, make sure that you hit that link in the bio. They go to the Patreon link. I have 4 separate subscriptions in which you can support the channel. And if you haven't checked out, I know I'm just getting all these updates and stuff. Y'all be all right. Y'all catch up. It's going to be all little cute little pop-up things when I re-edit this. So if y'all want to check out the new website that we have is KFM Network. That is going to be KFMNETWROK.com. That is our website in which you can find everything under Country Fan Mail Podcast as well as Why I Love Podcast as well. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this interview. I know y'all are probably like, man, like Klue sounds like he's just all over the place. Because I am. And the reason why this is, it's funny because, sometimes when something can be so simple, it gets made to be very, very complicated. I had the opportunity to interview this gentleman maybe about 2 weeks ago, and we had an amazing interview. It was his first interview, actually. And it was so dope. It was really genuine exchange of energy. And the file was corrupted. Like I couldn't even watch the interview. I just remember it being dope. I couldn't even rewatch the interview. So anyways, we're back here again. So I want to definitely, before I bring him on the stage, say that I appreciate his patience and I appreciate him definitely wanting to come back onto the show. So without further ado, super talented producer coming in from Hampton VA. I want to say that's where he's still at right now, but I know that's where he's from. The homie Madd Geek. What's going on, man?
What's good?
Not much, bro. I appreciate you coming on to the show, bro.
Oh yeah, man, I had to run it back. Had to.
Definitely, man. Because man, it was such a everything was so like saying awesome and genuine at first. Not to say that that's not going to be this time, but man, like I said, I definitely appreciate the patience, man. It's been a doozy.
Yeah, all good, man. Technology be like that sometimes.
Already, man. Already. So with that being said, as you know, the first question that I asked everybody: what was the first song that you listened to when you woke up this morning?
And see, I knew it was coming this time. So I made sure I was like, what song is this? I listened to the artist is the Sunday Service Choir, but I think it was the choir that Kanye used for his album, and it was More Than Anything. That's like one of my favorite gospel songs.
Okay.
More Than Anything. So, yeah.
So actually, you're a good person to ask this question. So I never knew, was that choir already established before Kanye started using them for the Sunday service, or was that something that he kind of put together himself?
That I don't know, because I found out because of Kanye. And then once they came up with their own thing, I was like, oh, y'all sound kind of good.
Yeah, so, man. I'm not big into, if I'm being honest, I'm not super into gospel music, but there's certain things that just, when you love music, what sounds good sounds good. You can't really deny it, regardless of the fact. So yeah, they're definitely they're some amazing singers, man. They turn some songs holy that I never
thought.
For sure, man. But yeah, man. So it's your first time on the show, and so I just want to definitely kind of get to the start from the beginning. So definitely kind of have an explanation of who the Madd Geek is. So if you can kind of, saying this kind of start from the beginning, kind of tell me about, so your childhood, your life.
Childhood. This is where the interview gonna be different.
Push it up a little bit.
Let me see. So as a child, of course, June 11, 1992, Mama had me, and as far as music goes, like my mom was my biggest influences were like my mom and my grandfather,
For
and
sure.
my mom was very, she was very eclectic with her music. So like, sometimes I would wake up and she'd be playing like Ludacris. You know what I'm saying? I'm waking up to that in the morning. Sometimes she'd be playing. I have this distinct, right. It was that song too, and
Oh
I have
shit.
this distinct memory of I can't remember if I woke up, but I remember she was blasting Shakira, "Hips Don't Lie." So like all man, Shakira, like all throughout the house. But the next thing you know, he's blasting like rock music. So like
Word.
that was always around me. And then like my grandfather, when he would take me home from his crib, he would always play some jazz, and he would always joke with me and say like, if you want to find a classy lady, you gotta know some jazz. So him playing the jazz, my mom playing a whole bunch of hip hop and rock, and then me, listening to like, she would put me on to like old school artists, but then I was listening to like
Hmm.
what was hot out, like Wheezy, all that. Um, it became this whole melting pot for me of just a whole bunch of music that I would listen to. So I became like pretty much a nerd or like a geek to it. So that's pretty much how that started until as far as like making the beats, that
Hmm.
came around like college. Like I was trash. I was trash at first.
You went to
I would try to like
Norfolk State, right?
yeah, I went to Norfolk State. I would try to take like songs like from popular TV shows like Power Rangers and stuff like that and try to remix it. My friends would be like, "Yo, that joint kind of cool," but I knew that joint was trash. Like I knew it, but I just kept trying to do it right because it was fun. And the time where I kind of got serious was Young Parker. He was we were playing Overwatch,
Shout out Young Parker.
and, and yeah, shout out to Young Parker. And he would always have these raps that he would do on SoundCloud. Like he would always freestyle. And they were kind of dope. Like, and I was like, "Yo, you should become a rapper. Like for real. Like take it seriously." And he was like, "Nah." And I think he said something along the lines of like, if I rap, you got to make my beats or something. And so I was like, well, I pulled up Fruity Loops, and while we were playing like Overwatch, I started trying to fiddle around and make a beat. And so I played it, and he was like, "That's kind of dope. I mean, like, you should keep going." And so that
Yeah.
was kind of like that was literally the origin of
I was about to
like
say it's a dope ass origin story right there.
right. So that was pretty much how it all started as far as like me, consistently like making tracks.
For sure. Okay. And there was something that you said that really stood out. You talked about when you first started making music and you were showing people and you were letting them listen to it. They were like, "Yo, that was dope," but you knew it was trash. And you know, I feel like sometimes as a creator, I feel like that all the time, like with everything that I do. And like I post, I'll share it with like my wife. Like she's like my wife, she's my best friend, she's my like creative, like she's a person like I have to like put shit through before I send it up. Like everything that y'all see, she sees first. I'm trying to tell y'all. So I'll show her, and sometimes she'd be like, "Yeah, that'd be so dope," and I'd be like, "Stop lying to me. Tell me."
Right.
But
Stop the
it's like
cap.
maybe it's really dope. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's the type of support that you should have around you at all times. So I guess my question, what I'm saying to say that is like when you had that support around you, um, were you accepting of it? Like was it something that you kind of like, were you just kind of like, man, they just telling me this shit, or were you just like, man, I think I actually might, you know what I'm saying? Because clearly it worked out. Clearly it worked out. So like how did you take it at first?
It was a little bit of both. Like some days it was like, man, y'all capping. Y'all really capping. But then some days I was like, I can maybe do something with this. Cause like the thing with my friends, they weren't like I could tell if they were over, like if you were doing too much, like, oh, this is amazing. It's like, Nah, but like they always said, like, oh, it has potential. It's like, okay, I can take that. You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure.
So, because of the way they would word it, it was like, all right, well, that means I can maybe do something with this, and
Yeah.
that was important for me. It's like how they did it, not even so much like them doing it, but like them
Mhm.
how they supported me and how they would keep pushing and be like, well, try this, try that, because like at
Yeah.
the end of the day, I always knew that you know, I'm a super critical of my art. I'm super critical of myself. Like, and
Mhm.
I'm also a dancer, so I'm like, I be watching like my rounds online. I'm like, this is trash, and then somebody else would be like, but I thought it was tight because of this, and then I'm like, oh, I ain't even think about it like that because I am the dancer. So like, because I'm
You're
the
always gonna
dancer,
check it out differently.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm always like, um, Fonte, right? Fonte is one of my favorite rappers. He has a line where he and I don't want to say it because I'm a butcher it, but he has a line where he was like, when y'all hear me, all y'all hear is the greatness in my bars, but when I hear me, I hear the flaws.
Mhm.
That's pretty much me, right? So like when I see myself and when I hear it, like I'll hear like what I didn't do, or like what I could have did, or like things like that, and
For
they
sure.
hear like just as it is. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's something I've always had to battle with back and forth, but ultimately they've helped me kind of continue along and like really push me to be my best.
For sure. And it's dope that you have that way of being able to. Well, for one, it's definitely dope that you have the friends that can be real with you and give you that realness. And what I'm saying, because you have to really have that line, because like going back to saying my wife, if she tells me like something needs work or she doesn't understand something, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, okay, like what I'm saying, it's really because like because the other times like I was like telling her not to too hype me when she was saying it looks really too good, but now she's just like, I don't like it. I'm just like, oh.
Whoa, whoa.
It's kind of like, but it lets me know that she's honest. It lets me know that
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
that
yeah.
she's being real. Like it could look better, it could be better. Maybe the last one was a bit better type type situation. And something else that you said that I realized that as amazing as the last interview was, we did not dive into deep enough. And I realized you let me skate over it. You let me skate over it the last time. But I too used to crump. And I say used to because I'm definitely not at all tied in with the world at all anymore. But I did a little bit of digging, and it's crazy because I looked up and I saw Carnage the Crumper. I was like, okay, I was like, so you were the other Carnage, because I know the Maryland Carnage,
Yeah, I
and
remember. Yeah.
I knew that there was a VA Carnage, but I had no idea. So it's just really crazy how it's literally a super small word. I was literally just talking to the other Carnage the other day.
Really?
Like you literally just talking to him the other day. So yeah, so it's crazy how small the world is. But a lot of the things that you talked about as far as your art, one thing I'll tell you about Crumpers, doesn't matter how good you are, how bad you are, you're passionate. So I feel like anytime that you're gonna take anything as a crupper, if you have a different art that you're in, you are already passionate, and or dance probably made you more passionate about it in some
Yeah,
type of way.
yeah.
So it reflects in your art and in the things that you do. And how long ago did you start like really actually like start producing? Like what year was that?
Ooh. I think it's been like 3 or 4 years now. I'm gonna say three
Mm.
to be safe. I'm gonna say like three, maybe four, because like I'll say three, and then like Facebook would be like, "Remember this?" And I'm like, "Oh, so it's been five?" Like you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, it does that to you for sure.
something
But
like that. I'm gonna go with a good solid four. I'm gonna say four. Change that.
and I asked that because a lot of your tracks that I listened to, I remember when I first it was DJ MED. He was just like you had posted a new track, and he was like, yo, like, Klue, listen to this shit. And then
Yeah.
like Parker was just like, nigga, listen, like, you need to interview this cat. And I can't remember exactly which track it was. I do remember you used the Sonic. That was the first thing that caught my eye, was
Yeah.
the reels, and how you actually take the time to make the cartoons for the reels. Like that's something that I feel like, as a content creator myself, just
Hmm.
something that simple, even though it might look simple and it might took you
Yeah.
30-45 minutes to do it, but it's like 30 seconds. It's
Yeah.
just like, what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
had to appreciate it. And then on top of that, the track was just dope, and I had to keep diving deeper in. And the first track that I found on your SoundCloud was Fooling Me Twice. and I kept running it back and running it back and going deeper. And the first thing I can't I think I wrote you when I said I think I said Cooking Soul and no I said Jay Dilla and Alchemist or something, and then I was like no I
Yeah,
meant to
yeah,
say Jay Dilla and Cooking Soul because like and that's a high level as
yeah.
you know what I'm
I was
saying
like,
because for 4 years that's crazy like your level is just crazy. So like I know I'm formulating these long ass questions.
you good?
um how do you feel like as a you know as a producer coming into the game, you know, fairly new, you know, so fairly new into the game, how do you feel like you're being received by the greater music culture, the greater music world?
I think I'm being perceived really well because like I've gotten like I would get random messages at times and people would be like yo I've been listening to you for a minute or like you know a lot of people associate my music with lo-fi, which I'm cool with, but some people will be like yo you're like this blend of like lo-fi and this and that and I'm like I ain't even try to do that but thank you. You know what I'm saying? So
Man, it's such a
it,
vibe.
it
That's a vibe in its own way. If you like,
right.
yeah.
Right. And it really gets to me that like, people really, really mess with it, you know. Um,
Hmm.
and it just pushes me to be like, okay, like people are actually listening out there. So that actually means a lot to me. And I even had one dude, like one of my homies, he messed up his I think his like his ankle or something like that at one point. And
Mm,
because of my tracks being super chill, he was able to like he teaches kids um to dance. So like in his video, uh he's a house dancer. He used my track and they were all going to my track. So like even stuff like that little thing touched me because I was like, yo, my track helped you out with
yeah.
that. So even it all matters to me, man.
That's really dope. That's super dope. That's the shit like that is so important. You know what I'm saying? Bringing in because you know everybody we can always play the artists that are already established and they're already out there and that's getting all the millions and millions of views. But if you know somebody that's
Yeah,
actually out there doing it and doing good shit, like come on, like support your folk. It's really just that simple, man.
right,
But
right,
kind of
yeah.
we're kind of switching gears a little bit. Definitely hats off to your name. I'm gonna geek out with you for a second because for one, I noticed that shirt and it's wild. It's kind of messing with me. So I'm kind of like, I don't even know what I'm fully looking at. I know what I'm looking at, but I don't know fully what I'm looking at. But it's super dope. So we're gonna talk about
Thank
that.
you, thank you.
but but secondly, I think I want to say I keep bringing up my wife. I talk to her a lot. Like she's really my best friend. But I'm talking to her about the hyperbolic chamber with Goku and how he's
Yeah,
going to the
yeah,
hyperbolic chamber and
yeah,
he's just like isolated with these artificial gravities and stuff where he can train and train and train because he's going to go do something, right? So I kind
yeah.
of look at the COVID-19 era as everybody's own version of their hyperbolic chamber.
Okay,
You know,
yeah, yeah,
I feel like everybody went into this form of a chamber in which either you came out different. It doesn't matter if you came out better, you came out worse, you came however
yeah.
you perceive yourself. It ain't about how the world perceives you, how you perceive yourself. You came out
Right,
different somehow, right? So it was like some type of hyperbolic chamber. I try not to say cocoon because that just makes you seem like you locked in, but because it was, and then caterpillars also build their own cocoons. We did not do
true.
that to ourselves.
That's
You
true.
know what I'm saying? Uh,
That's a fact.
so how do you feel like during that time, which this is one of those questions that's crazy that I can ask everybody in the world this question and
Right.
everybody had like we all went through it. Do you feel like your content or your art or your craft, do you think it took like a big change during that COVID-19 era?
It did. So like for me, there was a period where I kind of got tired of what I was making.
Mm,
And it was a long period of like, I have a style, I know how to replicate it, but I don't feel anything for it. Like for me, I have to feel my music, like, you know, and so like I kind of wanted to dive into like different like kind of different genres, but like kind of keep the same feeling.
mm-hmm.
And a lot of that was like more of the upbeat K Tronada type of make you kind of want to move type feel. And that's how you got, Fooling Me Twice. So like
Yep.
during that period, before the pandemic, I kind of felt like I was like, well, I want to learn how to do this, but like I still gotta put content out. So it's like, when do I have time to learn how to do this and still put content out? Because people like this, like the old me.
Mm-hmm.
But the pandemic gave me that time period to be like, it just slowed everything down. So it was like, all right, I feel like I have time to literally not put out anything and just practice and just watch
Yeah,
videos, practice different things, find different samples to chop up, find like a different feel for things. Like it really gave me that time to be like, all right, Addison, slow down and find that love again. You know what I'm saying? And I
for
feel like
sure.
the pandemic really, it gave me that period to like feel comfortable doing that.
And how did you feel like the pandemic affected your mental health? Like, do you feel like it well, I know you just said it gave you a amount of clarity as far as your art, right? But
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
sometimes um sometimes I know myself as a creator, I have to
yeah,
separate how I feel from my art because
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
feel like shit, but I have to show up for my art, you know what I'm saying, to an
yeah.
extent.
That's true.
Or sometimes the most beautiful things come out of your bad feelings, you know. So
Yeah.
how do you feel like the pandemic? How do you feel like you dealt with it mentally? I'll say.
It was very up and down, if I'm being real. Like it was scary. Like it was scary. Because you're hearing all these numbers, you're hearing all these things, you're hearing a lot of propaganda from people. Um, you're wondering about like not just your well-being, but the people around you. Like, are they gonna
Mhm.
have jobs? Are they gonna be able to feed themselves? You know, your parents, stuff like that. So and you're checking up on them. You're like, yo, you good? Like, but I can't really go see you for real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it it was heavy. It was heavy for like a
Mhm.
while. And like it gave me a lot of perspective to think and really like chime in and be like, dang, like not to sound like super dark or anything like that, but we are on a time period. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I need to be more uh I need to communicate to my homies, to my family, to my own mother. Like I need to go out more as far as like not actually physically go out at the time period, of course, but
Mhm.
like I need to like really, really like, hey, how you doing? You good? How was your mental? You know what I'm saying? Because like at first it was scary, but like as it progressed, I became more hopeful. I became, what I'm saying, everything was all good once I made sure everybody else was all good. And I made
Yeah.
sure like I hunkered down and everything was all good here. Um,
It's
but
it sucks because like especially as a dancer, like I saw
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
doing like the video sessions and the video battles and shit. And it's
Right,
like,
right.
as a crupper, that there is a certain energy that you get from a session and a live event
Yeah,
that can in no type of way be duplicated in any type of way when you're over a video. So like to see
yeah,
some of the people that I saw actually doing it, like what I'm saying, like shout out to them because it's just like
yeah,
one of the people that pop off in my head. I think he's South Project now. I think he's Southern Project now. I think that's his. I think he got
yeah,
but he was one of the people that like throughout the whole pandemic, I seen him down there just doing all this shit online, and I'm just like, how
yeah.
can you like? I have to really be in the type. Like I feel like I was only good at crumping when I was around the right people and the vibe was right. If I
Right.
wasn't around the right people, I'd be like. Like I
Something
just, I
ain't
just
hitting
didn't.
right,
I
bro.
wasn't a vibe.
Right, right.
So I feel like it was just crazy. Like it just to see people doing that. And yeah, I love to see the fact that so many different artists and creators, producers, musicians, and stuff were able to find their own light through the pandemic. And unfortunately, I'm pretty sure there were some that kind of found a different or darker side maybe to it.
Yeah,
Say hopefully so they find some clarity through that. But kind of to change gears and not stay so dark. So it's talking something I actually really haven't really done on the podcast before, but I want to actually get your opinion on some of the music that you've been hearing recently. Say if
okay.
you want to make any shout outs to anybody that you've been listening to, whether it be mainstream, underground, saying some other SoundCloud, Bandcamp homies, whatever you want to do. If you want to give anybody the spotlight, I probably should have let you know ahead of time that I was going to ask this question, but it is what it is.
Well, first off, I guess I'll give a shout out to my homie Young Parker. You know what I'm saying?
Already.
The team anchored in. We are a collective team. We got Katachi. We got a couple other dudes on there. Um, my homie KJ, that's Majin. That's like DASS Majin, like Majin Buu.
Yeah,
I produced like 4 tracks on his album. He's a rapper out here. Um, Off the top of my head, that's all I can think of. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And and so and let me think. I don't want to formulate this other question. So, without giving too many details about about your life outside of producing, kind of like if you have on like this is your superhero, take off the cape, because I know what you do. I was gonna say at least I know what you went to school for. but with that being said, it wasn't music. So right. So how do you how do you find that because this is something I asked this question, this is really honestly for myself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
somebody who, I'm currently in school right now for audio production, but everything that I did before that, my whole professional career had nothing to do with music, had nothing to do with any type of, audio, podcasting, nothing type of art, stuff like that. So
Yeah, yeah,
taking a
yeah.
step away from my regular job to really focus on this was a really huge leap for me. So seeing what you do and understanding, a lot about it personally, do you see yourself kind of drifting away from it to focus on music more, or do you see yourself kind of always doing things hand in hand? Because oddly enough, I had somebody else that I interviewed that does the exact same thing, and he was just
Oh,
like, "I'm
really?
always going to do both." So I was like, oh, "Okay,
Gotcha. For me, I feel like I'll probably always do both. So because like it's well, one, I enjoy, fortunately I enjoy my job, as
mm-hmm.
far as like my profession. And then secondly, it's like for me, when I do other things like, my job or just anything else that isn't like pertaining to art. So like, because it's the same way I feel about my dancing. Like when I'm away from it, that's when I build up either, that's where like my ideas come as far as
Mm.
like, the concepts, but that's also how I get myself excited. It's almost like, you know, that person you really like and like you're not around them. And so like you're excited, you're all giddy, you're like, yo, I can't wait. But if you're always around them, like at every point in the day, you know what I'm saying, you might not get that. You know what I'm saying? So if I like for me personally, if I had to make music as like a profession, like if I had to like
Mm.
do it like that, I probably wouldn't have the same love. For me, it's like I enjoy having that break and being at my job and like being like, oh wait, I got this idea. Like and then being at my job like excited to get home and put that, idea into motion. So like I
For
like
sure.
having that balance.
That's how I feel when I'm on the toilet. Like I get my best ideas. Like when I have that
Yeah,
ability
yeah.
for separation, I just
Surprisingly, I have too.
'cause that's the only time that I feel like I'm away from this shit. For sure, man. But yeah, I like the way you wrote that down because that definitely makes a lot of sense, and I think that the most important thing about that is that everybody has a different way of finding their groove, and it's important to saying to recognize that, and it's also important to respect everybody's saying different ways of doing their thing, and realize that greatness comes in so many different forms. I feel like I've heard so many top people talk about some of the weirdest shit that they do to get into
Yeah,
their group, but it's like it's what they do. It is like
yeah,
clearly
yeah,
it works. So
yeah. It's like,
find your
well, I
weird thing
can't
to do.
really. I mean, if that's what you do, that's what you do.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I gonna say? Like, what I'm saying, you're clearly winning. So whatever it is, man. But yeah, but with that, man, kind of bringing it all full circle. 'Cause we know we definitely talked about a lot, and I hope I didn't embarrass you or anything else.
Oh no, no,
But,
no.
but now bringing it full circle. If there was a message that you could get out to the world, saying whether it be via text message, via smoke signal, via anything, what would that message be?
The message I would say would be the to love, find when you find that thing you want to do, like, music, if you build model cars, if what I'm saying, whatever it is you have a passion for, love the process. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm.
I think a lot of us try to, like, we look at the end goal, like, oh, like, I want to have my name in lights, da 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 da. But like, once you get it, you're like, now what? You know what I'm saying? So,
Yep.
I had to, like, really, like, over years teach myself to, like, really love the process of what I'm doing. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can enjoy the end goal when it comes, but it's like, to be honest with you, it's getting there, the journey of getting there, that, like, really I fell in love with. Like, so, find ways to really, really enjoy the process, and then find another, like, continue to find ways to enjoy it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Find some way to enjoy it, and then, find something new to enjoy as far as, like, within the process, because I think that's what's gonna keep you going, as opposed to like, the end goal.
For sure. I like that. I like that. That reminds me of something that I read reminding it was something directly, it was toward men, but I believe that anybody could take it. It was saying that people have to stop looking at life like wanting to be done at some point, like
Yeah.
wanting to get to a point where they're finished. Like you should never be finished, because once you feel like you're finished, that's when you start to essentially die. That's when
Right,
ideas
right,
die.
yeah.
That's when, say your dreams die. That's when these things like that. So yeah, I definitely like what you said there, man, for sure. And I know I said it was the last thing, but before I let you go, I do want to definitely please let everybody know where they can follow you, where they can listen to your music, where they can send you DMs trying to buy your beats. Because if y'all haven't heard this man's tracks, like, y'all need to be in his DMs trying to send him some money, and don't be sending him no bullshit. Don't be like, what I'm saying, asking for no discount because y'all crumper too. Like, cut the shit. But yeah, go ahead, but put your stuff out there, bro.
um So you can find me SoundCloud, the Madd Geek, IG, the Madd Geek. I think Twitter is like _ the Madd Geek. So, because fortunately with my name, that's what I'm blessed with, is that, like, you can Google me and, like, it'll just pop up. You know what I'm saying? And
I don't
that
know
was
how I missed
something
that.
that right. It was something in the beginning that I loved about, like, my name, is that, like, I was like, really, nobody else has this? So, like, you know what I'm saying? You can Google it,
Mm.
and then, I'm right there. So, same thing for Apple Music, Spotify, the Madd Geek, it'll pop up. Just make sure it's MA, double D Geek. So,
Already, man, definitely, bro. I appreciate you coming on to the show, man. Like, it's
post
definitely been
that.
a pleasure, bro. Like just as smooth as last time, man. So I appreciate it, man. I was worried, man, because some people, man, it'd be like, fuck, that was hard the first time. I don't know how I'm gonna do this right. But I appreciate you, man, already, man, and man, I
Most definitely,
appreciate.
man.
I appreciate everybody that is listening, everybody that has watched this interview. Klue the Die Country Fan Mail Podcast. Make sure that you hit your man up for some beats, man. Like I said, don't be asking them for no discounts, man. Get your shit out.